Today we're going to talk about and work through an emotional reset. So what is that? So many of you have, including myself, have been experiencing emotional upsets and anxiety, frustration in many areas of your life. In fact, it can even feel like pressure, almost like your nervous system is being twisted and wrung out or in a vice. You feel that stress. So that stress then has caused or could be the cause of relationship losses, betrayals, breakups, misunderstandings. You may be experiencing money struggles much harder than before. You may be making mistakes with money. You may be experiencing other emotional upheavals that can cause depression. Your digestive system may be on the blink, where you're experiencing increased cravings for junk food, or maybe even causing a loss of appetite. You might be feeling mentally distracted or confusion. Okay? Some of you may have anxiety when you're normally very cool, calm, and connected, right? But then in that disruption, in that anxiety, we may lose communication with our guides, our divinity, and ourselves. So this is why the Andromedan Council of Seven has called this today. It wasn't just me. I've been working with them. This is a rather new relationship that I've developed with them just in the last month. And so who are the Andromedan Council of Seven? They actually, they're very lighthearted, but also like rock star, really no nonsense, very powerful beings of light. They actually call themselves the Magnificent Seven. And today they're going to help us defeat those cycles of distractions and upheavals. We're going to help dissolve turmoil and restore your equilibrium. We're going to rebuild that financial quotient, which will allow you to come home to self again, to feel that connection, to restore your mental focus so that you can feel safe in your body and in your world, restore your mind, your stability, and your peace. Okay? So what can we expect today? We're going to start, the Magnificent Seven said that they are going to start with a opening meditation just to center all of us. We're going to clear our auric fields. Okay. We're also going to clear your environment, your home, your office. So whatever you intend during that part of the meditation, or all of your environments, you might have a remote office, you might have your home, you might have like I said, a workplace, or even your vehicle, okay? Or a place that you frequent very often. So we're going to clear environments. We're also going to do a vagus nerve reset. So some of you know what the vagus nerve is. And for those of you who don't, though, the vagus nerve starts up in the brain and it travels down, it wanders down throughout the body, connecting to organs and glands. And basically the vagus nerve's job is to control the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for heart rate, digestion, and our breathing. Okay. We're then going to move on to flooding our nervous system with crystalline light to bring us that sense of calm and that peace, so we feel like we are returning home. Okay. We're going to actually rewire your brain's neural pathways, because when we get into anxiety, depression, emotional upheaval, then we create neural pathways of this stress, these stressors, right? And we can have ruminating thoughts then that continue. So we're going to rewire those pathways to give you relief and release you from them. And all of this is going to be a profound group healing. Okay, that's led by them. You might want to know, well, what if you fall asleep? Many people do fall asleep during these types of activations and healing sessions. it's very okay to fall asleep. You're not going to miss anything. In fact, it's actually your body's way of receiving really high frequencies to the point where it can't really stay awake anymore. And it just shuts down to receive, to receive, to receive. Okay. So it's all okay if you fall asleep. We'll wake you up in the end. Okay. So what's causing all of this? What's happening? As you know, this is a time of great transformation where we are grounding as humanity, as a collective. We are grounding in the frequencies of the Aquarian era. We've been through the Piscean age, and thank God that's over. We're moving into the Aquarian era, which is a time when we are experiencing the effects of a lot of solar flares coming into the planet. You may have heard about solar flares. And for those of you who don't know what a solar flare is, they are actually giant explosions on the sun that send energy, light, and high-speed particles into space and into the earth. So they affect us. These flares can cause geomagnetic disturbances or disruptive shifts to the Earth's natural magnetic field. And guess what? We are affected by the earth that we live on, right? So these disturbances then in turn impact us and our nervous system. And some of the symptoms that we experience could be, like mentioned before, but what's even underneath some of those emotional disturbances that we talked about are high blood pressure. You may have noticed an increase, a raise in your blood pressure. And so the body interprets these as biological stress responses, like the things we previously mentioned, the anxiety, the mental confusion. These are all symptoms that we previously mentioned. Now, I don't know how many of you know much about the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is actually and I'll just go into this really briefly and then we'll get on to it. But I wanted to give you a little bit of proof of these solar flares coming into the earth that are raising let's say the vibration, the hertz of the planet and therefore us. So the Schumann resonance was developed by a gentleman named something Schumann years and years ago. And he developed this device that would actually measure the planet's vibration. So I'm going to show you a graph. And in this graph, it's generally blue with a few green lines going across it. But when there's the solar flares coming in, causing this pressure, there's whiteout. There's spaces of whiteout within this graph. So let me show you what was happening just this last week. Look at all the whiteout areas. So it's no wonder that you, me, all of us were feeling the stressors, right? Okay. So on a deeper level of why this is all happening, we and the planet are spiritually ascending, meaning that we're raising our consciousness from the third dimensional living to the fifth dimensional and higher. We've always evolved physically. We've also evolved emotionally and spiritually. And this is a time where our spiritual evolution is really on steroids, let's say. Okay. And right now, that requires us to shed a lot of our old patterning, our old games of blame, shame, guilt. It's time to get right with ourselves and move into mastery.